Penn State kid obviously going before him. Obviously, we like him. I think he's a good player. I like some of his intangibles. For example, he's a really good baseball player. So I've always judged guys by what have they done in other sports. For example, Matt Bryant. Matt Bryant was a really good catcher and was a baseball player, was a really good catcher. So he had some extra stuff to him. So he's a tougher kid than most kickers. Matt Bosher, right? I did my research on Matt Bosher before we drafted him in Atlanta, and Matt Bosher, was getting in fistfights in the locker room at University of Miami with the linebackers. You see what I'm saying? Not with the specialists, with the linebackers. Well, you see what I'm saying? So there's something to this kid. He's got some toughness. He's a hell of an athlete, great hands, so it allows him to become a holder. He directional punts already. He can place the ball, so he's putting the ball outside the numbers. That's the way you're going to punt in this league. As a kickoff guy, he's a tremendous leg, does a really good job with that, and there's still some room for him to develop. But I love all those things about him athletically, what he brings as a competitor, and then also just him as a person in terms of his mental toughness, which shows up in other areas. So
the fact he runs a 4.5 40, does that tell you anything?
Athlete, you know what I mean? Fast leg. There's a lot of things you could do with him. He can throw. He obviously can run. I mean, there's a lot you can do with him.
Keith, what's your assessment on Jalen Darden's rookie year, and is he locked in as your returner this fall?
I think we got to take another chance with Jalen and take a look at him. I like him as a returner. I know he had the big punt return against Chicago. I think it was for 43 yards. I think we can get that to happen more often. We got to do a better job of blocking for him.
Who are the gunners in this rookie class? Who are the guys that can help you on teams?
Well, McCullum, the corner, obviously. I hope that he can do it. And I'd tell you this now. I want to see the back. I want to see if the running back can do it. The kid out of Arizona State. I want to see if he can go ahead and get the job done. 4.52. But I've had guys that if you're physical and you're tough, you can go play gunner at 4.52. And there's a couple of receivers that I want to look at. The Smith kid that's currently on the roster was out practicing today that was with the Jets. He does a nice job. He's been a gunner. He can go out and do it. So there's a couple of guys that we're going to look at. Obviously looking at all of them. But in terms of a couple guys to mention, that would be the group.
Speaking of gunner, what's the most important thing you want from a gunner?
A gunner? Shoot, you want him to force fair catches. Now the punter's got to take care of that, because here's the thing: when you're punting the football, there's two free releasers, right? It's the two gunners. So who are you punting to? You're punting to those gunners. You ain't punting to that returner. He's back there. He's getting paid to return the ball. You're punting to those two guys outside the numbers. They're the only guys that can release downfield. So what you're looking for is tough, fast, and guys that love to compete, because you're going to have two people on you. All right, and they're allowed to hold you as long as you commit 2 to 1. The refs are a little lenient now, so they're going to allow you to hold you. They're going to allow you to shove you, everything you want. You got it. So it's got to be a bunch of tough guys. Okay, they've got to be explosive. All right, with speed, and they've got to be physical football players. One that I remember, obviously Ryan Smith was a good one. Antone Smith, when I was in Atlanta, was a running back. So I've had receivers that have done it. Eric Weems in Atlanta was a receiver who did it for me. I've had receivers who have done it. I have had running backs who've done it. It doesn't matter where they come from, but you've got to be a competitor.
What do you think of Scotty Miller in the limited role? I mean, he was forced.
He had two forced fumbles. And that's what you're looking. He likes to compete. He likes to fight. You're looking for dogs. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for an alpha male, and you're looking for dogs. That's what a gunner is.
Did it help when you watch a guy in a national championship game perform at a certain level? Like, can you translate to the NFL?
Yes.
How they're going to handle it?
Playing in big games. Yes, no question. And he's played in a bunch of them. and he's been coached hard. I know Kirby. I was with Kirby at Miami under Saban. He's been coached. You know what I mean? So, and the guy has next to no expression when he does have a bad play, and you love that about him. You know what I mean? He's not droop dogging and walking around. You know what I mean? You better get to the next play. You know what I'm saying? They're coming again now, so you better get to the next play. So, but yes, it does. It lends a lot to it. So, and the fact that he can perform under pressure and execute was obviously all impressive.
We didn't get to see a lot of Jose Morales last year, but like mentioned, him in a kicking competition potentially with Ryan Suckup this year. What did you see out of him, and how close is that competition you think going to be? And come out of the wire.
I think I like Jose. I think he's a good player, and he has developed. Just watching him out here kicking today, he's kicking better. He's got a really strong leg. Obviously can kick off as well. I think, you've got a competition there. So, obviously Ryan's is a veteran kicker. He's been in competition before. Suckup's done a good job for us. So we'll see what works out.
Losing a guy like Greg Joseph the year prior, when you had him on the practice squad, protecting him all year, went on to become a starter for the Vikings. Does that play into what your decision could potentially be with keeping it a younger kicker versus a veteran kicker, not losing it, watching him go and perform for another team?
No, I think you have to make a decision and move on. You can't have them both, So you've got to pick one and you've got to move on. And God, good luck to the guy that moves on. There's always going to be guys are always going to get cut and go somewhere else and play. That's the league, So you make your decision, you live with it, and coach it up.
As fast as he is, do you give Zion a look at returner? Does he have experience doing that?
He'll be back there. Yeah, we're gonna find out if we can catch balls or not. You know what I'm saying? So we'll have the jugs machine out in the for rookie mini camp, and everybody's gonna be back there catching balls. So this is the time to find out. Can you really do it? Because I'm gonna pass a sheet out, and it has on there, I've returned kickoffs, punt returns, I've been a punter, been a snapper. So you're trying to find out what these guys can do, and they all fill it out every time. Every specialist has returned kicks. Then when you go get to the bottom of it, it was in practice. I did it, but it was only in scrimmages. I didn't really do it. So, because the first thing I'm going to ask is, what game? Because that's the block that they leave open. You know what I mean? So you're like, okay, you've returned kicks, but in what game? They're trying to make a team, obviously. So they're checking, yes. Okay, what game you talking about? Well, they can't tell you. So, but yes, we have fun with it. And if he's got that ability, with that size and that speed, we got to get him on the field as much as we can.
Where were you disappointed in last year? What bothered you the most about special teams? If there was an area that you really felt, hey, we didn't hold on to?
I think, no block kicks, right? No returns for touchdowns. But the point is, right, let's get as many tackles inside the 20 on kickoff as we can. Let's hold the punt returner to 4 yards or less per return. Punt return, let's average 10 yards. So on the bad play, it's a 10-yard return. So on kickoff returns, right? Let's average 25 yards. Let's at least get the drive start. So it's not the return yards on kickoff return as much as it is the drive start, but let's get the drive start to 27, 28 yard line, on average, which means you've had some explosive plays. And I think we have to get better in that regard, where we're consistent. And I want to get to where we're getting after people. We're coming after them. So and we're working towards that point now. When you talk about having a gunner, a corner coming in that can play gunner. We've got a couple of guys on the roster that have done it, so let's see what they can do here. So you're starting to build some pieces. You've got a couple young linebackers that can run, that like to go run and hit. So, but I just want to continue to build upon that, and let's go after some people, all right? And now you can start having some fun.
Coach, it seemed like too often, especially down the stretch last year, that when your kickoff returners decide to bring it out, it's not just them, it's the blocking up front, that you didn't get to the 25-yard line out of the end zone. And maybe you should have just fair caught the ball and start there instead. What's your line of thinking along that? Obviously, you want to see your guys.
Yeah, I mean, if it's too deep, or it depends on who you're playing, right? So if it's too deep, in the end zone, probably, and it's a low ball, probably going to bring it out. If it's 4 or 5 deep, you're probably going to take a knee. Percentages say 25-yard line. So I think, when it's a yard deep, or if it's 2 yards deep in the end zone, we probably should bring it out. And we got to do a better job of blocking. That's what I was saying earlier. We've got to do a better job. We got to get that cleaned up. And we've got to, and we say it all the time about winning your matchup. So that gets down into individual matchups. So we've got to do a better job of that. And that's my job to get that done.
With kickoffs, I know sometimes you can be content to just boom in the end zone, start them at the 25 every time,
Right.
if you will. One of the special teams coaches from Georgia last year was talking about how Camarda's hang time on a kickoff is really strong.
4.6.
Right, it's at 4.6, like unheard of.
Yeah.
To where
4.0 is good.
right, if you wanted to try and pin him inside the 5 and force him to bring it out, he said they had a ton last year. In college, you could fair catch it at the 5, you still get it. They can't do that now. Does that make it tempting to do that with him?
Yeah. If you hang it in the corner, which he does, and you got hang time on the ball, it's one of those things that he gives you that opportunity. Now let's go overpopulate, i.e. squeeze the corner. You know what I mean? And get as many people downfield speed in that corner. Now you're getting vertical penetration and wrapping off of each other. Now you're getting into some fun stuff. You know what I mean? But you've got to hang it and place it. If you kick it in the middle, that's over. That show's over. You follow me? You've lost your advantage. So, they'd love to do that with him. So that's some of the things that are so exciting about him.
Coach, you get some big contributions last year from some of your late third-day draft picks, KJ Britt, Grant Stewart, led your team in tackles. Can you talk about those two guys, the impact that they made?
Yeah, I just did a kickoff, because we're going to do kickoff coverage tomorrow, and I just did the tape for some of the drills and stuff I was just talking about, hitting on just working on scheme, kickoff coverage, right? You can't say stay in this lane, stay in this lane, stay in this lane. Sounds good, doesn't work, right? Because that ball's kicked over there. You said it's over there, but now it's over here. Now what? You follow me? So now what happens is whoever's first better go, and he's got to go make that play or cut off the wide side of the field. That next guy's got to play off him. He went left, bam, I better get my ass right, and I better get up the field now. So we do a lot. It's instinctive, and we play off each other a lot. And my point is, when I'm building this tape, and Grant Stewart shows up every damn time. You know what I mean? So Grant's supposed to be the wrapper. Grant's ahead of the penetrator. Well, he's got to go first, and now the penetrator becomes the wrapper, that type of stuff. So it's really fun coaching those two, And KJ is more of an edge setter, and he's a physical guy and does a really good job, because I always match him up with whoever their thumper is, that's who KJ takes. So whoever their tough guy is, KJ's matched up on their tough guy. 48, he's going to be on their good football player. So it's really good to have those two and be able to match up. I hope we can get 2 more.
Could you see both of them stepping into more of a leadership role on special teams if Kevin Minter isn't back this year? He was a special teams guy.
Yeah. Right now I have to hold them both back. But now KJ's doing a really good job. Most of the young guys are here right now, and we're doing a lot of defense and special teams type stuff. But KJ's doing a good job of running the defense now. So some of that may carry over into the special teams part of it. Same thing with Grant.
What have you seen out of Coe, the tight end that you guys drafted in the 6th round? His ability to play on special teams and, potentially be up back as well?
I would think that he's probably more of a guard on punt. He blocks for a living, so that'll be natural for him to be able to make the count and make the protection calls and all that stuff on punt. So I think he'll help us there. Kickoff return, I think he can help us on the second line in terms of what you would call a wedge nowadays. He would probably play that role. Kickoff coverage, I see him as a 3. Punt return, if he is out there, he's probably a right guard, i.e. on the snapper, working to either guard. So it's all about matchups. So we'll match him up with personnel and try to get something done with him there. But he's a physical kid. Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yep.
Thanks, guys.